Please take a sample ballot of the proposed constitutional amendments that are up for consideration and for each position that is being filled in Rapides Parish. So these sample ballots have been provided by the Power Coalition for Equity and Justice. We want to thank them for providing them for us. If you did not sign the guest list outside near the lobby, please do so. Make sure you get our flyer with important voting dates and voting information. Early voting starts October 25th and ends November 1st. Candidate literature, cards, brochures, flyers, stickers, and etc. should be on the designated table located out front. A committee member will instruct you where campaign literature should be. Refreshments are available in the lobby. As far as for the program, at this time, next we will have the introduction of the moderator by Deacon Brian McClendon. The moderators are Brother Dennis Brown and Minister Marie Cofield. The moderators will go over the forum guidelines. As far as the order of the program, we will have opening and remarks from each of the different areas that will be that are on the forum for tonight. Those areas are the U.S. Senate candidates, the U.S. Representative, 5th District, Public Service Commissioner, District 4, Alexandria City Council at Large, Alexandria City Council, District 2, Alexandria City Council, District 4, and the Mayor of Alexandria. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Allen. Now we're introducing the moderator, which is Mr. Brown, who is born and raised right here in Alexandria, went to Peabody. Him and his whole family graduated from Northwestern. I was impressed with that because he has 2 kids, and in their family they have a couple of master's degrees and doctorate degrees, and it speaks well for our school system. So on tomorrow, we will be dealing with some of the school board members and candidates and stuff. But with no further ado, Mr. Brown, tomorrow.
Thank you. Welcome everyone. One correction, I graduated from ASH. But that's okay. Just briefly, I want to go over some of the instructions. It will be a 2-minute open presentation by each candidate. During the question and answer period, each candidate will have 1 minute to answer the question. The question will be asked by myself. The audience will refrain from applauding or in any way of demonstrating support or non-support for a candidate. Each candidate will answer the question in each round. The speaking and question will be in alphabetical order. I will rotate the questions so each candidate be first or last in that respected order. A timer will be present to indicate to you how much time is remaining on the statement. The timekeeper will flash a green card when there's 30 seconds left, a red card when there's 15 seconds, and a stop sign when it's time to conclude. At that point, the timekeeper will stand up, and if you go over too long, then I'll stand up. And after each section, we will have a 30-second closing by the candidates. At this time, we're going to ask the candidates for U.S. Senate to come forward, please.
I think it's just me, so I just stand and take it all at once.
This is Gary Chambers, Jr. That's how we open, sir.
How long?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Thank you. Good afternoon.
afternoon to you all here at Giant Hill. It is a pleasure to be with you. My name is Gary Chambers. I am a candidate for the U.S. Senate. I am the lead polling Democrat on the ballot this year. Excited to be here with you all tonight to talk about the future of our state. If you don't know, our state ranks 50th in the nation. We rank 48 in education, 46 in healthcare, 47 in the economy, 47 in infrastructure, 47 in environmental quality, and 47 in opportunity. I think we got it wrong the last time we elected a U.S. Senator, because every time there's an opportunity for us to solve those problems, he votes against those policies. Moreover, he puts commercials on TVs and talks about crackheads when we talk about crime, which hadn't done anything to solve the problem for the people of this state. I've been an advocate in Baton Rouge for the last 6 or 7 years. In the time of my advocacy, we've helped open an emergency room in a community that closed one. We've helped keep a zoo there, which brought in a $300 million investment. We've helped change police policies. I ran for the 2nd Congressional District last year, came up 1,500 votes short of making the runoff, but learned a lot of valuable lessons, built a core base, and I'm the only Democrat on the ballot that can say they have a base of voters for them right now, with 22 days left to Election Day. With 22 days left to Election Day, I want to give you numbers more important than anything. John Kennedy was elected with 536,000 votes. There are 900,000 registered black voters in the state of Louisiana, 1.2 million eligible black voters. 30 days before he was elected, 580,000 black voters showed up to vote for Hillary Clinton. 30% of white voters in the state of Louisiana consistently vote for Democrats. If you show up and do your part, we can send him home.
Thank you. First question. Do you believe the United States hold fair elections on the federal, state, and local level?
Yes.
Describe what you would like to achieve for Louisiana if you're elected senator.
The best thing I ever did is a 12-year-old girl named Zoe who attends public schools in Baton Rouge. I don't want America or Louisiana where she isn't treated as a full citizen. I think the work that we have to do is to make sure that every citizen in this country, and especially the citizens of Louisiana, can live out their wildest dreams in the garden that they're planted in. Most of us are used to our kids moving to Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, all these other places, because those places have brought things in that attract young people, that keep them. They're building an economy that works for everybody, and we want to do the same thing. From central Louisiana to north Louisiana to south Louisiana, it is possible if we have leadership that actually cares about the people. When people ask me what are my priorities are those numbers that I gave you from the beginning. Fix our education system, build a stronger economy, and make sure that we have better access to health care.
What are your plans to protect Medicare, Social Security, and veterans benefits?
Don't vote against it.
What is it?
Let me be a little more intentional. A lot of things are already in place that are beneficial to people. There's a lot of people that are trying to attack those things for different reasons. We just need to hold what we have. Don't vote against the policies that are already helping people. As a matter of fact, we need to extend those policies. In 2021, at the very beginning of the year, I lost my grandmother. She was 88 years old. I didn't know until my grandmother passed away that she got a check for $900 a month, right? How many people live off $900 a month, $1,200 a month? We have to build these safety nets to help those who have built this country. And surely we know that the shoulders that we stand on deserve to be taken care of until they leave this earth.
Okay. What are your views on what occurred on January 6, 2021 at our national capital? Should those responsible be brought to justice?
Yes, they should be brought to justice. I started my journey as a protester, advocate in Baton Rouge. And if I had stormed in the state capitol the way those folks had stormed in, I'd been arrested for less at a city council meeting, okay? And that's a fact, right? So to me, as someone who has stood for a righteous cause, for people being murdered by the police, asking people not to do that, And then we have a U.S. Senate. I want you to be mindful now. John Kennedy is one of the only senators on the ballot right now that voted to overturn the election of Joe Biden by overturning the vote in Arizona, right? And so whether you agree with Biden's presidency, whether you voted for him or not, he won fair and square. And sore losers make, I ain't gonna say it because I'm at church, bad leaders.
Okay. 30 seconds. Close, sir.
I started by telling you what's possible. I'm going to end by telling you again. But it's not possible without you helping us. Specifically in the demographic of people that are in this room. I need you to call your cousins, your friends, and your relatives and tell them that there's a black man on the ballot with a chance to make it into the runoff. If you tell them, they trust you more than the ads that they see on TV and more than the workers that's getting paid by another campaign. I can't win without you telling the people in this community that we can do this and we can mobilize people all over this state. If there's a runoff, we're going to end up like Georgia, and Georgia has 2 United States senators that are Democrats. Thank you.
At this time, we would like to bring up the representative from the 5th Congressional District. And I would like to remind everyone that please hold your applause on the questions. Thank you. I guess so, sir.
My name is Walter Earl Huff, and I'm running for the congressional seat for the 5th Congressional District of Louisiana. And I'm running because I have been so dissatisfied with the way our leadership of our party has done for the last several years. The things that I think need to be pushed that are not being pushed adequately: control of inflation, closing our southern border, safe streets and neighborhoods, good schools with a lot of parental input, building international relationships that are leading to some of the problems that we've had in Afghanistan and some of the other problems that have diminished our relationships there. And last but not least, economic development of Louisiana. I think my background is strong for addressing all of these issues. I have worked in virtually every major sector of the economy. I have taught economics and finance in Louisiana at the Delta Community College, ULM, Columbus College in Georgia. I've run successful businesses in Georgia and Louisiana. I have worked for the IRS and the government. I have flown in the military, ASW type aircraft. I have a lot of background that can go a long way in solving some of the problems. But the thing that we've missed the most is we haven't got a two-party system that's cooperating with each other. They quit talking across the aisle. You gotta have people that will address these issues, debate them, come to the conclusion, and address them so that we can have some solution for these problems. I thank you for the opportunity of coming here and addressing you, and I would welcome any question you have. I look forward to answering them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. First question. Do you support comprehensive immigration reform? If elected, what would your priorities be to change our current system?
Immigration reform is not going to be done until we close that southern border. Ever since Reagan, that was the promise when they had some partial solution at that time. If we don't close the border and stop the drugs coming across, the human trafficking and the illegal immigrants, you'll never get both parties to solve these issues. So we've got to close that border first, and then we could get some definitive resolution for this particular problem it's gonna ruin this country if we don't get on top of it. Thank you.
Do you believe the United States holds fair elections on the federal, state, and local level?
I think we should have everyone is eligible for vote. They should vote. We should encourage that and protect that vote. Yes, I think we should have. We have to follow the laws of the country, though. We've got to follow the Constitution and the state laws as they're passed by our Congress and our legislatures.
Should the federal government have a role in reducing gun violence? Why or why not?
My answer to that normally is the only answer to a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. We've got to protect our rights for guns, and the people can have them to protect their home. I think that the country hasn't got enough laws to address what the victim's rights are. I've been told by my brother-in-law, basically, that if somebody comes into your house or your store and starts tearing up your house and ruining your livelihood, that you cannot shoot that individual unless your life is threatened. You can't protect things that are yours. And I think, and he was a state policeman, so he knew what he was talking about. I think that victims need to have better rights in this country, and we address that, I think the gun issue won't be a problem.
With African American represent over 30% of Louisiana's population, do you believe another majority minority district should be created?
I think that the African American community is addressing the wrong issue on that particular question. And I want to say something. First, I apologize to you because some of you are not going to like what I say. But it's the reality of the situation. And the issue before this country right now, in many cases, is abortion. What you don't realize, a lot of people, is that some of the primary supporters of the abortion movement, when it first started, before Roe was passed, was concerned about the size of the African American community. If you look at the population of the African American community today, it's somewhat above 50 million in the U.S. citizens. We've aborted 20 million babies in the African American community. And if you look at what could be, if those babies had lived, your African American community would be probably twice the size it is today and have a much larger voice. Now,
You have 30 seconds to clean up, sir.
I really appreciate the opportunity to come and visit with you, and I was looking forward to your questions. If you have any questions for me, please ask. I don't hesitate to answer, and as you can tell, I tell you the way I see it. I knew what some of you wanted to hear, but I'm telling you the way I feel and my true beliefs, the way that it should be addressed. Thank you very much.
At this time, we're going to ask Public Service Commissioner candidates to come forward, please.
All public service.
Now, the Public Service Commissioner.
Yeah, all of them.
All of them. Please use the other side. We have rails.
Go ahead, sir. I might fall backwards and we're gonna have a whole domino effect.
First, Mr. Bowden. Sorry for mispronouncing names tonight, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Keith Bode, and I'm running for Public Service Commissioner for District 4. I'm doing that because I feel like the Public Service Commissioner's office has lost transparency and the confidence of the ratepayers of Louisiana, and I believe that we need to make a change and get that confidence back. On June 29th of 1991, I married a woman that made my life change for the rest of it. I've still been married to her today. I believe I'm the only candidate that you're going to see up here tonight that is not related to a party and has not taken one thin dime from anyone. I have not taken money from a trucking company. I have not taken money from a political organization. I have financed this completely out of my pocket. I'm here tonight because I believe by you sending me to Baton Rouge, we can make a difference in what's going on in the Public Service Commissioner's office. Right now, the Public Service Commissioners has 5 people running it. They have a combined total of 126 years of public. 2 gentlemen have been in office for almost 2 decades. And here we are with electric bills, and we got to decide whether or not we can pay our rent or pay our medical bills. We've got Public Service Commissioners that tell you if you don't like the job that they're doing and not wanting to hold energy's feet to the fire, and you expect the ratepayers or people to pay for storm restoration, then you need to find someone else to vote for, because our current Public Service Commissioner says he don't want to do that. That's public information. Well, I'm here to tell you I'm somebody else. And I'll go up there and I'll kick the ant pile, and we'll figure out what's going on. Thank you.
Mr. Francis?
I'm Mike Francis, your Public Service Commissioner. Can y'all hear me in the back all right? Good. I was born and raised in Ceylon, and I'm here today to ask for your vote again for re-election. 6 years ago, you elected me as your Public Service Commissioner. Thank you for that. I've served honorably and worked hard for the last 6 years to give you the best rates that we could possibly muster. Yeah. I was born and raised just up the road here in Gina, Louisiana. I accepted Christ and I was born again when I was 12 years old at the First Baptist Church in Gina. I have a grandson who's a student here at the Louisiana College right now. I'm really proud of him. And, we're just here tonight to ask you to consider voting for me again for re-election. And I'm a businessman, I'm a Christian, I'm retired, and I really would appreciate you considering your vote for me today. Thank you.
I'll say it.
Say it. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shayla Montour. I'm from Iowa, Louisiana, Port of Calcasieu Parish, where I was served as a Calcasieu Parish police juror. That gives me a good advantage. Calcasieu is the biggest parish in this district. Basically, whomever wins Calcasieu and Rapides Parish has a very good chance of pulling this off. A little background, I've been in business for the last 19 years, transportation, oil field, worked in several big projects, worked with BP oil field for a year, ran 3 different states on on-the-ground operations. I have a business management degree from Liberty University, which is one of the second biggest Christian college in the United States. I'm running for this office because I want to serve the people. That's the biggest thing that a lot of people lose when they get in the seats of this size, is they lose the transparency, and what it's meant to be is to be a servant of the people. So I just ask for your support. If you get time, please check out my website, www.shaylantour.com. I hope to have your support. Thank you very much.
First question, Mr. Bowden.
I gotta keep bringing the tag up a little bit.
What are your top priority concerns if elected as Public Service Commissioner?
One of my top priority concerns is to make sure we get an auditing system put in place to where we know exactly what we're paying for when it comes to storm-related charges. I'm a project manager in the environmental industry. I've cleaned up storms ever since 2005 that's hit the Gulf Coast. My job, people that work with me, my job is to go out and pick up the transformers, the wires, and the poles. I know what we're seeing out there in that field. I know what we should be paying for, and I know what we shouldn't be paying for. And I also want to put a program in place to where we can help seal our older homes to get the electricity from going out of them and get us from number 50 in the nation of using electricity. Another area that we're last in. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Francis, sir, there are mics at the table, yes, sir.
What's that?
I said there are mics at the table. Same question. What are your top priority concerns if elected as Public Service Commissioner? Again.
Well, as a Public Service Commissioner for the last 6 years, we've promised to provide safe, reliable, affordable utilities, whether it be electricity, natural gas, or anything in the trucking industries. And whenever I was elected 6 years ago, I promised to apply proven business principles to the job I did at the Public Service Commission. And to define that, I built a business in the oil field. When I was 30 years old, I started the trucking business. I was the first driver. And when I sold that business, at 500 employees. We accomplished quite a few things there. And I've used those same proven principles for the last 6 years in service in the commission. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Latour, same question. What are your top priority concerns if elected as Public Service Commissioner?
Well, of course, everyone is up in arms over the electricity costs. It's hurting everyone. Like someone brought up earlier, grandma was, make $900 a month, and you hear stories. I walk this complete 17 parishes, hearing the stories of people on Social Security and people just aren't making it, having to pay $800 or $900 utility bills. So that's going to be the number one thing, is to look into different avenues, every single aspect of utility companies, how they're ran, how they're doing things, if we can do things better. The other big thing is telecommunications. I'd like to, there's a big gray area on that and who's actually in control. I've been talking to several legislators in the Southwest delegation. They've actually said day one they're willing to work with me to rewrite some legislation. So that's the two biggest things, and of course look at every single aspect of this office and see if we can do better. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Francis. In 2021, over 149,000 households in Louisiana spent 23% of their income on their home energy costs. Do you feel enough being done right now to address concerns of the people? If not, what would you do differently?
Absolutely not. I think that I'm not satisfied with what's going on in our pricing in the utilities. One of the problems that we've been facing in America is the same thing that's going on across the world. The utility prices, the price of electricity has gone up across the world. And across Louisiana, it's following the same pattern. A lot of it has to do with inflation. If you look at the price of gasoline, it's doubled. The price of food in our grocery stores has gone up, and our electricity bills have gone up. We're fighting these utility companies to try to make sure that they don't take advantage of the ratepayers. And if you look at the records, just like with Entergy, we have 4 lawsuits against Entergy right now for $2 billion. And in this area here with Clico, we're also, we have our lawyers and our auditors are working with them to make sure that, the pricing is equivalent.
Mr. Latour. In 2021, over 149,000 households in Louisiana spent 23% of their income on their home energy costs. Do you feel enough is being done right now to address concerns of the people? If not, what would you do differently?
No, echo what Mr. Prince said. Of course, we have some inflation costs, but the biggest thing is using best business practices. You can look at, we have, I think, 10 nonprofit utility companies, 3 for-profit utility companies. The nonprofit utility companies was using what's called 1803, or 1903, and that's basically buying electric from other areas. I think we can look at diversifying more of a portfolio where we can buy possibly electric for cheaper. That would save the consumer money. There's different aspects. We, of course, like I brought up earlier, rewrite legislation and do the best business practice is going to be the key. Thank you.
Mr. Bowden?
I'm sorry, y'all, I can't sit down. Absolutely not. That is not fair. And, what it does is it really hurts young people and people that's trying to get into owning properties, because now they've got to come up with not only their rent or their mortgage, their down payment, but they're looking at paying another 25% on their electricity. Now, I know we don't want to say it's been going down the road, but we have people that's been in this office since 2002. They have done nothing to help us try to diversify. Here we are in 2022, and we're going, oh wow, now we got to get the cow back in the barn. And it's just not going to be easy. Our problem is we've got to change the system we have right now. We've got to get people in there that want to work for the ratepayers. And by doing that, we can get these utility companies, get them a little bit more involved instead of just letting them have everything they want every time the vote comes up. Because if you go watch it, if you go read the minutes, you don't never hear anybody going, I'm against that.
Mr. Latour, do you support using public funds to defray energy costs to the low-income residents and families?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Do you support using public funds to defray energy costs to low-income residents and families?
I do. There are programs that actually people can donate to for low-income families, especially if you use go to the senior centers. They have actually some funding that you can apply for. They actually pay your complete bill. I think it's so yes, I do. That answers your question. Yes, sir.
Mr. Bowden?
Yes, I do. I also support taking some more funds and trying to build a system to where we can start working on these older homes and these homes that's got so much drafts in them to seal them up so we're not losing so much electricity, which will cause our electric bills to go lower, okay? So if we can put a program together that's a neutral party, that'll take the time to go invest into these homes with budget monies that we're getting from the federal government. We've got $1 billion coming in from us. We can seal these homes up. We're going to help on the back end. We can't start in the middle of a process. You can't fill the buckets thinking that you're going to start with it half full. You got to start at the beginning of it. And we're so far behind because of the current administration right now that it's going to take us a while to catch up, y'all. I'm just telling you what I believe. I'm not going to make you any promises, but I'm going to tell you what I believe so you can make a wise decision on who you want to vote for.
Mr. Francis?
Would you mind repeating that question?
Do you support using public funds to defray energy costs to low-income residents and families?
Christ said the poor will be with you always. And I think all of our tithes and offerings that we give to our church, just like this church here, if everyone would give their tithe to the Lord, we wouldn't have any people struggling, to pay their utility bills today. But yes, I do strongly support any kind of activity that would help people pay their electricity bills. And we have several government programs in the state with the state legislature that takes care of that type of problem. It is not the purpose of the Public Service Commissioner to do that, but we always strongly encourage people like Cleco in this area to consider the struggles that people are having today with their bills.
Okay. We're going to do a wrap up now. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Bowden. 30 seconds, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to realize that I sat on this side of the room tonight because I wanted to make sure that I am separated. I have ran, no. I have ran this campaign since July, separating myself from the other two candidates. The other two candidates are both political people. I am not a politician. I am a project manager. You have a gentleman that's in the Public Service Commission's office now that you can vote for if you like the way he's doing things. You have a gentleman that's been in public service before, and you can vote for him if you like the way he does things. If you want somebody to go up there and kick the ant pile and figure things out, I'm the guy you want to send, because I'm not going to take no for an answer, and I'm going to ask every question I can.
Mr. Francis?
Thanks to the church family for putting this on. Just humbly ask for your vote in the re-election. I've worked hard for the last 6 years. I've tried to apply my proven business principles, the success in my business to treat everybody the same way that I did all my employees. And just humbly ask you for your vote again for re-election. Thank you.
Start that yet. I see. Got some lag time at least. Shayla and Tour, thank y'all for putting this on. This is a very good crowd. We've had several other forums where it wasn't so busy. So I do appreciate everyone coming out. I hope to earn your support. Again, please check out my website, get a little more details of things I'd like to do, www.shaylantour.com. I'm willing to work for you. That's the biggest thing that everyone loves to say, but I promise you, if you talk to anyone from Calcasieu, ask them how well I represent them, I was always available 24/7. I did what was right. Sometimes I was a lone vote, but I always did what was right for my constituents, and I hope to earn your support. Thank you very much.
Thank
That
you.
was 25 seconds, by the way.
At this time, we'd like for the candidates of City Councilman at Large to follow.
I might need that real help. Don't fall.
Okay, Mr. Green, we'll start off with you, sir.
Good evening. To the esteemed Pastor Joshua Giorgero for putting on this forum, and to everyone that came out. I'm Jules Green, candidate for City Councilman at Large. I'm a lifelong resident of Alexandria, Louisiana. I've been married to my wife for 41 years. She's a retired school teacher. We have one daughter, Alexis, who's a paralegal in a local attorney's office here. And we have one grandpup, a little shih tzu. So I want you all to know that I graduated from Bolton High School in 1970. I'm a graduate I attended Northwestern State University, where I majored in business administration, and I have a degree in seismic graph technology from Shell Oil Company out of Houston, Texas. I'm running today because I want everyone to know that City Councilman at Large represents the entire city, not one half of the city. When you vote, you have to consider the entire city that you are representing. One big thing everyone knows about, when we passed the recreation tax, it was for the entire city's parks, not just one park exclusively. So taking that into consideration, we have to elect a person that will represent the entire city, north, south, east, and west, not just one side of the city. You see me all the time. I'm just not out at Peabody's homecoming parade. I'm out, I represent, I see everyone. I do my best to be in the community and to do what I can for you citizens. Thank you.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon.
Thank you, Pastor George, for putting on this program today. My name is Jim Ballard. I'm a lifelong resident of Alexandria. I've been married for 30-something years. It's kind of hard to remember the date this time. I have 2 children, 2 grandchildren. Lifelong resident of Alexandria. I've been your councilman for 12 years. I believe in using common sense and working together with whomever the administration is.
to get things working, to solve our problems. We need safe neighborhoods. We need effective and affordable services. We need our trash to be picked up on time. We need our utility rates to be stable. We need to do smart infrastructure. We need to take care of the flooding in some areas. We need safe streets, streets you can ride your car on, ride your bicycle on. We need to work all this together so we have opportunity for all of Alexandria, not just part for all of Alexandria. And I appreciate your vote.
Mr. Green. Traditional recreational outreach programs seem not to be working and curtailing youth crime in Alexandria. What programs or solutions do you propose to capture disconnected youth?
Going back to the recreation tax, the tax that was passed to represent the entire city, not just Johnny Daniels, not only Franklin Hunter Park. We have in these facilities, we have places that these children can be, if they were given the funding to represent themselves, keep them off the street. Franklin Hunter has a beautiful facility out there that's not being totally used. We need to incorporate things that will help all of our students, all of our citizens from east to west, all over the entire city. Thank you.
Mr. Lord, I'll repeat the question. Traditional recreational outreach programs seem not to work in curtailing youth crimes in Alexandria. What programs or solutions do you propose to capture disconnected youth?
One thing I think we really need to use is to employ the churches of the area to open up their gyms also, to keep kids from early age in their church and working with citizens. I mean, working with the churches to get their education. Every one of these churches have nice gyms. Maybe the city can partnership with some of these churches so they can help us and they can run them and we can help them in many other ways.
Okay. Mr. Ballard, what do you see as possible improvements for Alexandria City Police Department?
Well, one thing, we need community policing. We need the policemen back in the neighborhoods, knocking on the doors, where the people will not be scared of the policemen. Policemen are your friends. We need to work with them. We need a better education for our police department to get them more adept to these neighborhoods and help them to work together better.
Okay, Mr. Green.
Community policing worked. When we had officers in the neighborhoods that the residents knew who they could call, who they could approach, you had no problems with people telling what JoJo and Johnny Ray and everyone who was stealing, doing, and killing around the community. What we need to do is we need to go out and get qualified police officers. We need to give them great incentives. We definitely need to continue to do great things with these officers, to support them and let them know that we are behind them and working that way, sir.
Okay. Mr. Green, how can the council and mayor's office work closer together?
Respect. The council needs to respect the mayor's office. The mayor needs to respect the council's office. Being on the council before, you have to work together, coincide. The mayor cannot control the council meeting, and the council cannot run the mayor's office. The mayor has 900 employees. The city council has 2 employees, 2 clerks. So once everyone learns that, you will understand that the city can work together. And furthermore, you have got to respect each other. Civility is the main thing that will make this city move forward, and those 2 governments, the legislative and the executive branch, work better for the city of Alexandria.
First of all, exactly, you have to go upstairs, you have to talk with the mayor, let him know what your priorities are, and listen to his priorities. and work together in cooperation so you can maybe come to agreement on some things before you take it to the public, before you get in front of the council. Then let's work together before time and get things worked out so we can all make the cities look better, and we can all make things happen in Alexandria.
Okay, one last question. What is needed to improve the quality of life in Alexandria?
We need more jobs. If we can get our utilities right, our crime down, and our infrastructure, we have an opportunity for everyone. I can create more jobs, the quality of life will go up. One thing, the mayor did a disparity study the other day, and it really affected mostly people of color don't get jobs. What we need to do is we need to do a seminar, let people know how you bid on city jobs, what you need to do for city jobs. That's one thing that's really needed right now in the city, is a way to get people involved in the city, and the quality of life will go up.
The city needs to work diligently with all aspects of the city, parish, and state. We have a police jury that we need to work with that will help. I'm gonna say this, you can concrete everything on the west side of town and the south side of town flood. If you don't have work with the police jury that will get these other police juries south of us to clean out drainage ditches and work things out better, we're never going to do anything better than that. We have got to work together as a community to realize that Alexandria can be a better place. We need better jobs. We need a stronger workforce. We have the CLEDA, we have the Chamber of Commerce, but we need to get out and diligently seek better jobs in our area, in our community.
Okay, 30-second wrap up, Mr. Green.
To make Alexandria the crossroads of Alexandria, again, working with the police jury, again, working with the citizens of across the city of Alexandria from one side to the other side. It cannot just be biased on one side of town. Ladies and gentlemen, we incorporated a couple of years ago a utility company. We bought a plant. It's not working for us. We're now still buying utilities. I didn't vote for that. So what we need to do is learn and work better together with everyone in this city.
Mr. Lord.
I'd like to thank y'all for having us again. My name is Jim Villard. I'm running for City Councilman at Large. I want to be your councilman so we can work together and get things done in the city of Alexandria. I'm 98. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bernard,
Get your.
oh. I'm gonna bring it home.
Oh, yeah.
This time, I'm going to ask the candidates for City Council District 2 to come forward. We're going to start off with Mr. Gary Johnson, please.
Good evening. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Zion Hill. My name is Gary Johnson, candidate in District 2. I'm here with my lovely wife, Frankie. For 41 years, I've served on the front line of defense for this great nation. 21 years Army, My assignments include NSA, Korea, Germany, Alaska, and a few more. 19 years with the Department of Defense as the lead budget analyst, Fort Polk, Louisiana. 1 year with the United States Marshals as the Chief Logistic Manager. As a non-commissioned officer in the United States Army, I had many decisions to make involving the safety and welfare of my soldiers. As a lead budget analyst, I had budgets ranging from $20 to $170 million. I was tasked to make sure those funds were spent properly. Just these two things alone make me uniquely qualified for this position. As your city council, I plan to work with and not against the administration. I will do my best to make sure every major disagreements are settled behind closed doors instead of out in the public, not to be a sideshow. I vow to have open forum with the people of District 2 every 6 months so they can voice their concerns. And here are my short-term priorities: utility bills, public safety, and job growth. Thank you.
Mr. Roosevelt Johnson.
My name is Roosevelt Johnson. I'm married to Ms. Jan Johnson, members of the True Vine Missionary Baptist Church. I have over 30-something years in community service in Central Louisiana and the city of Alexandria. I believe in our city, I believe in our future. I'm running because I want to enhance neighborhoods and community policing, increase transparency and accountability in the city of Alexandria, restore physical discipline in the city of Alexandria, address the crime rate in the city of Alexandria, and make government more accountable to the people. You know, I'm running for city council, and this time because just a few months ago, as I slept in my bed and woke up to the sounds of gunshots in the middle of the night, I said, what's taking place in our city that wasn't there that could change? Our city needs to change, our community needs to change. The quality of life needs to change where we are. And I want to make a difference in our city. I want to go to work immediately. I'm gonna have to be trained. I've been 3 times serving as council president, 3 times council at large, 1 time in the district, and I can make a difference. I know the people. I know what it takes to win. I know what it takes to get the job done. That's why I'm running for District 2. I believe in our city. I believe in the future. I believe in the workmanship of people and getting the job done. I'm more convinced than ever that we can win on the way. Thank you.
Mr. Porter.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to come out here and to evaluate the candidates. It's extremely important that you do so. An informed voter makes sound decisions, so I commend you for participating in this event. So a little bit about me. I'm Gerber Porter, City Councilman, District 2. I'm a mathematician, an engineer, a scientist, an educator, a coach, a public servant, and most importantly, I'm a husband, a father, and a grandfather. My experience is vast. I've worked in corporate America and academia for more than 30 years. My work history includes the oil and gas, the petrochemical, chemical manufacturing, and insurance industries. I've taught school at the elementary, high school, and collegiate level. My education, experience, and expertise has served me well as a city councilman, I bring all of those factors to bear every single day on the job. During my time in office, I have been pursuing a new direction, a new course, and a new strategy, one that leads to progress and improvement. I've put forth innovative and comprehensive proposals that address critical issues and needs in District 2. Those plans have offered comprehensive solutions to major problems such as crime prevention, flood protection, drainage improvement, infrastructure, and affordable housing. For far too long, we followed the same path and ended up in the same place. Once again, we find ourselves at a crossroad. This election will determine which way we go. So I'm asking you to re-elect me so I can continue to forge a path towards progress and improvement. I'm Gerber Porter, Councilman District 2, number 157.
Mr. Reed?
First of all, I want to give honor to God, who's the head of my life, Pastor Jardell, this great church family, for allowing us to come here to debate before y'all. It's truly a blessing to be here. My name is Reverend Clarence Reed. I'm running for District 2 City Council. I'm also the Associate Minister at Eastern Star Missionary Baptist Church. I'm also an Army vet. I fought in Desert Storm. I have a mentoring company that I own called CNR Mentor, where we're already working. We don't have to start working. We're already working in the school system to try to get kids that have gotten in trouble, put them back on the straight and narrow path, and those that are on the straight and narrow path, keep them on the straight and narrow path. We are determined to get Alexandria back where it used to be at. I remember 20 years ago, Alexandria was a place that people wanted to come and retire. Now Alexandria is a place people want to leave. When they get an education, they don't look at Louisiana College or LSUA. They go way out to Mississippi, way to Alabama, way to Tennessee. We want our kids to stay here. We want them to be educated, but come here to have a home, to make this their home. Also, we also have to look at, we have to be unified. Ain't no one person can change Alexandria. We have to come together, work together. I know the people. I'm from Alexandria. I'm the only candidate that was born and raised in Alexandria. I love my community and I love my people. And I feel together we can make a change. Thank you.
First question, we'll start with Mr. Gary Johnson. What are some additional things the city can do to address the crime problem?
One of the things that we could do, I'm working on this program called If You Can See It, You Can Be It. I'm married up with the Rapides Parish School Board and with the Fort Polk community. I want to address these kids that's 16 to 18 years old. When I grew up and joined the service, we all went in as privates because we didn't see the black officers. And I knew I was smart enough to be an officer, but I didn't see it, so I couldn't be it. So what I want to do is get these kids in a 30-day program and get some of these professions that we don't see around Alexandria and have these kids see what they can be other than the regular job that we have in Alexandria. Thank you.
Roseville.
One of the things I'm proposing is a program called AREP. It's called Alexandria Recreational Educational Project. And what that will do is we need to, number one, take the locks off all the cadoras for the community centers. We need to have programs when it comes down to culinary arts, recreation education programs, ministry programs, family counseling, and programs that's going to be available after school. When that kid leaves, when that child leaves school, that teenager, when school ends, they're involved all summer long. So what we would do, we would pattern that program similar to the program called BREC that they have in South Louisiana that will enhance all the needs that will meet the needs of the youth in our community to
42.
Yes, sir. What are some additional things the city can do to address the crime problem?
So there needs to be a collaboration between law enforcement, the community, the city, and every other entity that is a vested stakeholder in our city. And that collaboration would look something like this. We would need to make sure that parenting is taking place. We need to make sure that there are things to be done. If kids don't have things to do, we need, as a city, we need to make sure there are items, activities to fill their idle time. And we need quite a bit of involvement from not just law enforcement being present in the community, but we need other entities as well, whether it's education, parenting, religious organizations, non-governmental, not-for-profit organizations. We need a total collaboration.
Mr. Reed? What are some additional things the city can do to address the crime problem?
We definitely need to get our community police back together. We need to have at least 4 units in each zone, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That way, if you see the same officer coming through your neighborhood, turning block, you get to know that person. You get to know them officers by name. The officer gets to know you by name. Then it discourages the criminal to be on the corners and hanging out, because why? The police officers are constantly in the neighborhood. They constantly ask them questions. They ask them where they're supposed to be at, where they need to be at. We need our community police back. We know we're down with officers right now, but we can come into a working agreement with the sheriff and have him allow some of his officers to team up with the officers that we're short of and help them patrol this area. That is the only way that we can bring down this crime. We have to work together with the unifying the police force, not looking at it as one identity, but also the sheriff and the city police working together. Thank you.
Mr. Roosevelt Johnson, what is needed to improve the quality of life in Alexandria?
Well, one of the things that needs to take place, and we look at economics, we're looking at across the board, the city working with the parish, the state, congressional delegations, but also having programs and events such as what other cities have in Louisiana. We need to identify in the quality of life those things that we have when it comes down to festivals, events, major attractions, but also with attractions and quality of life, we have to make sure we have a safe city, safe community, because all those things in the quality of life are important. When you have a safe city, when you have a safe community, we can do those things in the quality of life to get things done.
Before we can even begin to address quality of life, we have to handle the necessities. We have to take care of the basics. So first of all, if we have a lot of poverty and we have a lot of crime, we have to address those issues first. Then if we have a lot of debilitated housing, blighting housing, and we do not have affordable housing, we have to address that. If we have high unemployment, we have to address that. The days of large corporations moving into this area with thousands of jobs at high-paying salaries, those days are over. When I first went to work for a major corporation, we had 165,000 employees. That same corporation has 65,000 employees today. We will need entrepreneurship, small businesses. That's what will drive our economy, that we would need to drive out crime and have different affordable housing options. That's what will begin to increase the quality of life.
Mr. Reed? Yes, sir. What is needed?
What is needed to improve quality of life in Alexandria?
First of all, we have to have security and safety in our city. No one wants to come here and bring a business here if they feel that the crime is bad. Second of all, economic development is a must. And the only way we get there, we have to get back on track with our local businesses that's here, try to find a way to help them stay here, keep their doors from closing. We have businesses that have been in business for 35 years and their doors are closing. And furthermore, we got to do something for our youth. They have nowhere to go, nothing to do, no after-school programs, no summer program. We have to do something. We had the boys club one time, it's gone. The YMCA is gone. The kids have nothing to do. We have to open back these parks that are closed down in each neighborhood. We got to work digitally to get the avenues back opened up for your kids to go somewhere to get their minds back on the right track.
One of the first things we have to do is use the resources that we already have. The worst thing that ever happened in Alexandria was when they closed the Air Force Base back in 1995. There's a lot of open space out there for small businesses to open up. Secondly, Fort Polk has 13,000 jobs right down the road, high-paying jobs. They even have ways to take you to work. I made a good living getting picked up by a van, going right to Fort Polk. So we got to go down there to Fort Polk and start asking for those jobs, applying for those jobs, and applying for some of those high-paying contracts. It's right down the road. So let's use the resources that we already have at hand. Thank you.
Mr. Porter. Traditional recreational outreach programs seem not to work in curtailing youth crimes in Alexandria. What programs or solutions do you propose to capture disconnected youth?
Youth programs are not a panacea to eliminating crime with the youth, but it goes a long way because we know that idle time is the devil's workshop. If you have young kids who are not supervised, that becomes a problem. So what we definitely need several components. One would be through education, the other is through community involvement, and the other one is through assistance with parenting and development. Now here's the thing. Athletics is not for everybody. We need to supplement across the board, whether it's cultural programs, educational programs, things like arts and crafts, reading. It could be math clubs, chess clubs. It's across the board, the entire horizon. That's how you engage the youth and keep them out of trouble.
Mr. Reed, traditional recreational outreach programs seem not to work in curtailing youth crimes in Alexandria. What programs or solutions do you propose to capture disconnected youth?
You know that all our youth now are not going to school like they should. They're not getting the education that we would want to for the kids. So they're turning more to peer pressure and the environment that they're in. I feel like we need to show them another alternative, even if you don't have the education or whatnot. We got CTC right down the street where they train them how to weld and teaching them nursing skills and teaching them carpentry skills. There's always a way for them to make it. I know that for sure because I was one of those youths that strayed out. But because of good mentoring programs and other avenues of life, I went into the military. They can still got a chance to go in the military. They have a chance to learn how to weld, the carpenter, the paint. There's so many different things that these youths can do besides standing on the corner or whatnot. Let's get out there, let's get on the ground, and start letting our kids know that it's a better way. We have to take the first step.
Mr. Johnson, Gary Johnson.
Well, first of all, I disagree with it not working. I went out Saturday before last and seen that youth football team. That's a beautiful thing. And so you're telling me that youth football team league is not working. You have you have kids doing something that's constructive. But I agree with what Mr. Porter said. Athletes athletics is not for everybody. I was fortunate to be a good athlete, but you got to start stuff like chess club. You got reading. You got different things that you could add besides sporting activity. But I agree that we need more openness for these kids, and we need more mentors to come out to help our kids. Thank you.
President, Mr. Johnson, I apologize.
What I'm proposing, when it comes down to those things that will enhance our youth, is that through Alexandria Recreation Education Project, each community center will have a mission. One will have culinary arts. One will have special trades. One will have maybe welding. One will have carpentry. One will have mentorship programs. And what will take place is, with the intergovernmental agreement between the Rapid East Parish School Board, retired teachers, everyone working together, you'll spend 2 weeks, say, at the Broadway Resource Center. You'll spend 2 weeks at the Martin Center. You will have developmental programs at the Teen Center. So there will be enhancement programs every 2 weeks, all the way up until the school year starts, that will develop our youth. Also, the DARE program will be real important because the officer will have a chance to engage time with those students, whether they're in school or whether it's after school, to increase their knowledge of being safe and doing those things that's important in a child's life.
Mr. Reed, Mr. Arthur, this is going to be the last question. Do you believe the city of Alexandria can do more to support disadvantaged businesses? If yes, what? Do you believe the city of Alexandria can do more to support disadvantaged businesses?
Oh, most definitely we can. We just have to, like I said, we have to unify the resources that we have here already, and we have to build up on that. We have to spend within our community that we make. We also have a lot of businesses that come into our city and drain resources from our city, but they don't spend it here. So we have to find a way to allow these local companies that's here to get some of these contracts that we have with the city so that they're able to spend their money here because they live here. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson?
Repeat the question.
Do you believe the city of Alexandria can do more to support disadvantaged businesses?
Yes, I do. And one thing we have to do is just like the federal, we got to get incentives. And, we all are not on the same playing field, so we got to give incentives to those disadvantaged workers and companies so they can get a hand up. And that's my answer to that.
Mr. Johnson?
One of the things that's really important at budget time, the city has a business incubator. For those new businesses, the disadvantaged businesses groups that want to grow their businesses, that's the aspect in time to do it. To take these businesses as they start up, and those disadvantaged groups and businesses who want to be part of Central Louisiana economics, do those things and present to them and have available through community workshops, through the legislature, federal government, special grants, and do those things that make it available to make sure that their business not only become not disadvantaged, but be advantaged to the future of growth, and create opportunities for all those they would like to employ and be economically strong.
Three of the major obstacles for disadvantaged businesses: one is access to capital, two is cash flow, and three is being able to have the resources they need to run their business. What the city can do to assist disadvantaged businesses with that is to lower those obstacles, lower the bars there. For the knowledge on how to run a business, we have a local business academy. The city could sponsor some of these entrepreneurs to go there and gain that knowledge. Access to capital, the city can help with that. cash flow, the city can also assist with that, with the way city pays for services. So it's those three things the city can do to assist disadvantaged businesses.
Okay, we have a 30-second wrap up. We're going to start with Mr. Gary Johnson.
I want to say thanks again to Zion Hill for putting on this great forum. Let me reiterate my three priorities. Number one priority is we're going to tackle those high utility bills. We need to renegotiate the cost of those bills. Number two, we got to build a relationship with those police. We beat these police, they're already short, we just beat them up and beat them up. We need to have a relationship with the police. Number three, job growth. And like I say, one thing we're gonna do is go down to Fort Cole and start getting those federal jobs just right down the road. Thanks again, my number is 155, Gary Johnson. Thanks again.
Mr. Roosevelt Johnson.
Again, my name is Roosevelt Johnson. I'm 156 on the ballot. I'm running for City Council District 2 because I want the City Council administration to champion our future, to work hard, to make a difference. I want to be part of a great city that can lead the way. I'm ready to go to work right now. I'm more convinced than ever that our city can win, people can win, this community can win. Through prayer, through God's work, through God's will. I want utility reform. I want community policing, a great quality of life. All those things that we can do to make a difference. I'm Roosevelt Johnson, 156.
Mr. Porter.
For far too long, we've been trudging along the same old path, and it only leads us to the same place. So now here we are once again finding ourselves at a crossroads. So where do we go from here? Do we follow the same old path, or do we forge a new one? I want you to allow me to continue forging a new path that leads towards progress and improvement. We cannot continue doing the same old thing, expecting different results. We need to go forward. We need something new. We need something different. I'm Gerber Porter, number 157 on your ballot.
Hi, again, like I say, I'm Reverend Clarence Reed. I'm running for City Council for District 2. I'm asking for your prayers and support for a change in Alexandria. Yes, we have been going through the same old thing for the last 20-something years with the same politician. I'm not a politician. I'm just a concerned citizen. I'm asking for your prayers and support again. Also, I'm a veteran. I fought for my country. Now I'm willing to fight for my community. Give me a chance. Number 158, come November 8th for change. Your voice for a better tomorrow. It's a need for a reason. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm going to ask the candidates for City Council District 4 to come forward, please.
Skelter. I'm a mom. My girls are right there. 2 daughters, and my husband of 11 years, Alex Skelter, is here with me. And they're part of the reason that I'm pushing through and why I want to be successful and make it to City Council, because I see how important they are to me, and I know there's families all around this community that want the same thing for their children, want the same thing for their families. And I want to serve and be a voice for our community. You don't see very much women in this room doing these things, and I think that's important. I want to show my girls that women can be strong, women can make an impact, and we need to be in leadership as well. I'm a teacher. I teach at Peabody Montessori. I teach 4th grade. I've taught all kinds of different subjects, but I love it there because we have a diverse student body with families from all walks of life. And I truly believe that helps me see what the people of Alexandria need, what they want, and puts me at a special place to help and to serve, like I said. I think it's important that someone on City Council serves with unity, communication, and integrity. I'm committed to making decisions for the right reason, not because somebody wants me to, but because my district, my constituents, what I'm doing what they want. I'm standing for them and being a voice for them. I want to bring our city together. I want to bring our council together with the administration and work hard. And I want to communication, unity, integrity. Yeah, I want to do all 3 of those things that bring us together and really, really make a difference and work hard for our community. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Tom Spencer. I've lived here since 1976. When I was in the 6th grade, we moved here with my family. My dad was a Baptist minister, and I've been here ever since. I bought my first house in District 4 in 1991, and I'm here to serve. I have my wife with me tonight, Dawn. We have 5 daughters, a couple of school teachers. We got one about to finish law school, so she'll go off the payroll, and so we're looking forward to that. My big deal is crime. In 2018, I was a victim of crime. In my neighborhood, walking down my street, a man put a 9mm to my head. And I don't want that to happen to anyone, not only my family, but anyone in this room or anyone in this state, to anyone ever. We have to get a handle on crime, and I know how to do it. I worked in emergency services for over 30 years. I know how to staff our police department. I know how to recruit. I know how to do it fast. I'm proven in recruitment. I did it when I worked in the emergency services, but we have to do it right. I'm also a business owner. I know how finances work. I know how budgets work. I know how to get things done. I know how to get things done fast because I don't like wasting time on things. I like things to go fast, effective, and precise. And I hope you'll consider me for District 4.
Ms. Felton, first question. What are some additional things the city can do to address the crime problem?
All right, one thing the city can do, and specifically what I can do on City Council, is to revitalize our neighborhood groups. I think if our neighborhood groups are stronger, we are giving people a place with their neighbors to come together and voice concerns and be connected and give them a place to problem solve for their specific areas. I think that's a great place to start. Let me see how much time I have left. I always get nervous when I see that thing go up. Another thing that we absolutely need to do is we need to make sure that we are helping with the morale and the support of our police officers. As a teacher, we're not in it for the money. Police officers, they're not in it for the money either. And so if we can stand beside them and see what they need, what training, what tools do you need to be more effective, that's what we need to do. I'm not a law enforcement professional, but I know how to bring people together. I know how to listen, and I know how to solve problems. And I think that's one way to start, is looking at what we need and making that happen.
I believe police officers should be in it for the money. I believe we need to pay them a lot more than we're paying them right now. And I know a way to do that. We have money in the fund balance right now to recruit heavily, recruit fast, and get the people staffed with not just warm bodies, but highly trained, post-certified police officers. I worked hand in hand with them on the streets whenever I was working in the EMS field, and I know how to do it, and I know how to do it fast. Did I say fast too many times? I feel like I'm repeating myself. And since I've still got time, I ain't even got the stop sign yet. There we go. No, but I'm very serious. I believe we got to pay our police officers. We got to pay them a workable rate, and we shouldn't be fighting with administration. I look forward to working with whoever the citizens of Alexandria elect as mayor, and I look forward to working with whoever the citizens elect for your council member.
You stand back up, Tom.
Back up. I knew Dennis Brown when he didn't have gray hair.
What is needed to improve the quality of life in Alexandria?
Crime. I mean, quality of life, economic development, all the things. Nobody's going to bring a new business to town if crime is, riddling your neighborhoods. Nobody's going to want to move to Alexandria with all the crime that's being reported right now. We're bleeding population. They're leaving Alexandria. They're going to Pineville. There's nothing wrong with Pineville. But, our population base is bleeding, and we've got to do surgery and sew it up. We can't put Band-Aids on it anymore.
I have a little bit of a different perspective. I've been walking the streets of District 4, knocking on doors, talking to residents, and in the last probably week and a half, I've met 10 new families to District 4 that moved from out of town, Monroe, Shreveport, different areas. And so we have people moving here. We do have people moving away, but when people move here, we have to keep them here. We have to give them a reason to call Alexandria home. And quality of life, this is not a long enough time to talk about all the things we can do for quality of life, but we've got to be creative. We've got to bring excitement back to our city. We've got to represent our city well. I mean, when they look at our leadership, people have to say, man, they've got it together. They love our city. They're working together for us so that Alexandria is the best place it can be. And so we have people coming to the area, and we need to keep them there. And that's all I have time for.
What can be done to lower the utility costs to Alexandria citizens?
All right. Utility costs. Okay. So this may be an unpopular opinion, but when you compare our friends over in Pineville, our utilities are decent at times. I've compared my bills, but not right now and not at this particular moment. And I think there's ways we can look at how our fuel costs, fuel charges, what is going into that. We are a municipal, my mind is just, when I think is. Anyway, so we need to address that. We need to see what we can do to make things affordable, because if the majority of your income is going toward your utilities, that's a problem, and you can't have quality of life, because then people can't give back into the community. So we definitely need to address that. We definitely need to see what we can do. We need to compare and look at our rates, an affordable rate for the people that live here.
Right off the bat, the breach of our utility system's computer system was not the ratepayers' fault. It wasn't the customer's fault. Things could have been done, whether it be this current administration right now, the previous administration, to make sure, just like we protect our homes, our utility computer system was protected. It wasn't the customer's fault. Second thing is, when they estimated our bills, that was not the customer's fault that they estimated them too low. We've got $34 million in the fund balance right now. We need to rebate the customers some money for the problems that have been caused by the whole week.
Please refrain, please.
That's all.
Mr. Spencer, last question. Why do you feel you're the best person for this position?
the best, but I'll tell you my qualifications, because Lizzie's certainly qualified in her own way. We're just different. I don't have any distractions. My daughters are all gone, and Lizzie has beautiful children. I mean, I'm not saying that they're distractions. We would never call our children distractions. Well, mine have been distractions at times. But they're out of the house now. They're gone. They're grown. Just got my first one married in February. Hopefully no other ones get married anytime soon. I got to fill my jar back up. But I feel like I have the time to commit, to dedicate, and pour myself into. I still love Alexandria. I haven't given up, and I believe our best days are ahead.
I'm 32 years old. I'm part of a younger generation that is ready and excited. People that are older always say, why don't the young people step up? Well, I'm here. And I think that makes me very qualified to be in this position. We have to have perspective from all walks of life, all ages, representing our city. And so I'm excited to be hopefully one of the first of many people in my age bracket that want to step up and say, hey, I can make a difference and I can benefit our city in a positive way. Being a teacher, I know I talk about that a lot, but it's my passion. I love what I do. And in the classroom, I look at my students and I'm their biggest cheerleader. And I look and I say, what is, if you think, if they think they're capable of this, I think they're capable of way more. And I bring that out of them. And so I want to do that for our city. I want to look and see where are we at right now, not focus on the problems, but bring solutions, bring people together, and in a positive way, change Alexandria for the better.
You keep talking, you have 30 more seconds.
All right, just to wrap up, like I said before, I am honored to be here. This is not something that I ever thought I would do, but I feel that it was a needed step just in my life. God led me to run for this position, and He has opened the way, and so I just want to be a good steward of the energy, the excitement, the knowledge that He's given me. I want to represent our city well. I want to be a voice for people. I want to be approachable so that our city can move forward and be the place that we all know it can be. I'm Lizzie Felter. I would appreciate your vote for Alexandria City Council District 4.
I'm Tom Spencer. I'm running for District 4. I believe I can do the job. I want the job. I want it bad. I'm number 160 on your ballot, and hopefully number 1 in your heart.
Tom, get your card.
And next, the mayor candidates to come forward, please. Ms. Davidson, we'll start with you, please.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for having us. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Catherine Davidson. I am your current president of the City Council. I have served for the past 20 months after being unanimously appointed by the other council members. I won my election, and the day I was sworn in, I was unanimously voted to be the president. I heard a lot of people talk tonight, right? You can read on my card. I'm a wife, a mother, my dad was a judge, my mother was a school teacher. I'm a proud resident of the Garden District. Investing back into my community, we bought an office on Albert Street, and we bought another building on Lee Street to hopefully start to rehab some areas that need some help. Tonight we've heard a lot about cooperation, communication. It is not lost on me what has gone on in the past 20 months. And I would say this to each of you. For the past 16 years, nearly 2 decades, we've been going backwards. And I sought this position because I wanted to stand up. Sometimes you gotta just stand up, even if you stand alone, even if people get mad at you, even if everyone is against you, you have to stand up and what's right. And I will tell you this, I love Alexandria. I grew up here and I've been waiting since I was 9 years old for it to reach its potential. And the only way it's gonna do that at 54 is if somebody stands up. And I can get along with the city council members. I get along with them. 5 of us voted for $2 million in raises. 5 of us voted for recruiting funds. 4 of us voted for affordable housing. I can get along with anyone that would like to get along with me. And I want you to know this, if there's something you don't, that you will know, I will stand up for each and every one of you, even if I have to stand alone.
Mr. Davis.
I'm Lorenzo Davis Sr., number 75, candidate for me. I think tonight, since, first of all, I thank Pastor Jordan for allowing this process to take place. We only got 30 seconds to go on night, so I'm gonna take my time, 2 minutes. My team has been working with me on 30 seconds. So the past 2 administrations has failed. Bottom line, we in a mess. It takes crisis management to get us out of this mess we're in. You gotta wake up, city, get off of this parade. You take beads to the bank. You cannot spend beads. We have to focus on the fact that the nation is divided. The city is divided. Some people said, boss, you're scared. But I worked in corporate America for a large company for 20 years. I was a region manager, the top black at that corporate level. They sent me, Reverend Reed, to crisis situations where I ran regions to the top. 5 years in every region I went to became the top because I didn't cut no corners. You heard every person say the money was there. The disparity study proved we could cut all these situations out. The councils never brought it up. The monies were there to mitigate crime. Yeah, I scared some people, but I'm gonna fix it. My base tells me I'm gonna win. We're gonna fix this. We had the money to curb crime. We had the money to invest in small businesses. We had the money to help our youth. I'm gonna build one of the finest recreation departments that this country ever had. We had the money to invest in our public safety, but we failed. Both administrations. Where is John? But we failed.
Jock Roy, coward. Jock Roy, the coward. He's not here.
Mr. Hall.
Thank you. First of all, again, thank Pastor and the members for allowing us to come and share with you tonight. I'm Mayor Jeff Hall, Mayor of Alexandria, running for re-election. I want you to realize that I am the first African-American mayor elected as Mayor of Alexandria, and you all did, and I'm very grateful to that. And I'm proud to serve. I'm a graduate of the public school system of Rapids Parish, Peabody High School, a graduate in accounting, minored in marketing. Worked several years with the city of Alexandria, as well as police, jury, legal services, and 32 years with CLECO. Entered there as an accountant, internal auditor, retired after 32 years as senior vice president. Chose to come to the city government because I wanted to serve. I wanted to serve Alexandria. I ended up being a state representative for 4 years, but we ended up being elected. And we're here. We're here to tell you that the city is doing well, is doing better. Can't forget some of the things that we had to deal with, but it doesn't matter because I can't be any prouder than work with the city of Alexandria's employees as well as the citizens. The city has over 800 employees, many departments. You can't just look at 1 or 2 departments and think you're gonna fix it because you can't do it by yourself. You've got to have the cooperation and engagement of the employees to get the job done. And we have the skill set that we try to bring to the city, bring to the citizens, and deliver that. And we feel like we're going in the right direction with a study
that came out with the transition study, and we're on cue. We're on cue to do the things that need to be done, and we're moving in that direction. And with that, we have answers, questions that's gonna come up that we're gonna share with you, but we wanna say we're glad to be a servant of the citizens of Alexandria, and we think, along with the employees that we have, is going well, better than what was expected, and we're gonna do even better. Thank you.
Mr. Hayes.
Hello, how y'all doing tonight? There we go. Want to first say thank you to Pastor Joshua Darrell and the Zion Hill family. I also want to say thank you to Mayor Hall. He is our first African American male, and I do respect that. A little bit about myself. I was born in New Orleans, but I grew up here in Alexandria. I've been here since I've been 5 years old. And I grew up in Carls Park. And Download Third in high school. And growing up in those areas, of course, many of you know that look like me, y'all know that I wasn't supposed to be one of the young men that made it. In a lot of sense, our young men are going from the school to prison pipeline. So myself, as an educator, as a person that was able to make it through the odds, go on and get my education. I earned my bachelor's degree in criminal justice admin, my master's degree in psychology, and I put that to use in my service in the military. I've been serving my country since I was 17 years old. I joined the military in high school, and my junior year, I was actually off to basic training, and I went back to high school to finish up my senior year. I've always been in service, in community service in some kind of way. With the military, I worked in transportation, I worked in logistics, I worked in budgeting and accounting, I worked in engineering and construction. Most of these things that go on hurricane-wise, I'm one of the people that's in the office that's actually making sure that we have everything that we need hurricane preparedness-wise. I've always served my community, so when it was time for me to actually take that call to action and get out and serve my people and my students, I wanted to make sure to do just that, and that's why I'm running, to actually be an inspiration and to bridge the gap of communication with our youth and our elders, and I would hope that you guys would allow me to do that.
First question, Ms. Davidson. In the first 100 days of your term, what would be your 3 top priorities?
I'm going to call Mark Wood and I'm going to ask him to come give us some help. That should fix on the immediate end, policing and coverage. Our issue is a coverage issue. That's the number one thing. Hopefully that'll happen after Nate and I get sworn in. My second thing is we're going to put in blighted housing provisions, which will take care of blight, right? You put the ordinances in and then you have to follow through and implement those. It's a state statute. It's basically a 5-sentence ordinance. It's already been written. I wrote it for the previous administration. The third thing that I'm going to do is we're going to look at DBE. We talked about that today. Disadvantaged Business Enterprise is actually in the legislature. What that does is that minority-owned business and women-owned, majority-owned businesses by women and minorities, all things being equal, get a point up or 5 points up in state contracting. All we have to do is implement that as an ordinance, and immediately, if everything's equal and the disadvantaged business makes the bid, they get it. That's how you fix it. You act.
Mr. Davis?
Utilities. Me campaigning and talking to as many people I have, I've seen utility bills $2,000, and people are not getting an explanation. I paid 4 utility bills on my residence in the last 2 months, and I paid 3 on my office. And I want to tell you how many thousands of dollars there was. And we didn't cause that. They have no resolutions in place to help people solve that. So that's the first thing we do, is implement a plan to give people some help.
with the utilities, then a disparity study. I want to reverse that process by using that money. See, the public service people said there's money to help people, but we're going to help the small businesses, and we're going to build a strong, vibrant youth recreation department to where our youth will have all aspects of services provided.
Mr. Hall?
Without a doubt, the first thing we'll do is continue to working with the problem that we're having with the utilities as a result of the breach. The main thing is find the dollars that we have been asking for on the federal side, whatever, to try to give our citizens some relief as a result of what has happened. The next thing is to continue the infrastructure and enhancement that has to take place, because you just can't stop doing what you're doing. The bridges that's going out that need attention, that we don't have the money to do right now. We have to continue working in those areas. Infrastructure and enhancement, bridges, poles, things of that nature, vehicles, all those things that we're talking about, including computer enhancement as well. And the last but not least, the things that we need to work with are the employees. We have a compensation study that's just about complete. Let's complete that so we can pay all our employees fairly, consistently, because they have not had a study done in 13 years. They are that far behind in the market. And there's so many other things that need to be done, but you gotta continue to pay people, you gotta continue to go ahead and figure out what's needed in the system, and get those things done, and try to get some help with the utility system that we can think we can do without a doubt. Thanks.
Mr. Hayes?
So, my plan to actually get us started, I guess we'll cover all three of those parts. I developed a stimulus plan, Alexandria Stimulus Action Plan. It's called ASAP, to go ahead and ignite our economy. That starts with our school teachers, our police fighters, our firefighters, our urban development and recreation. It actually has employment benefits for our kids, summer employment for our kids. We also are going to be looking at getting districts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, everything that they need when it comes to working on blighted housing and all of the community-related projects. I believe that if we go forth with this development plan, we can actually put something in place for all of our city, and we can actually ignite our city in a major way by looking and investing in the human infrastructure, and that's our police fighters, our firefighters, our teachers, the people that are actually out on the ground doing the work, and I think that's very important to start.
Mr. Davis? What will you do to lower utility costs for the citizens of Alexandria?
There's funding now. I disagree with the fact that you have to find it. I've recently had some people in Washington looking at some of the infrastructure package that has resources to help cities with our demographic, to aid our citizens that are struggling with our utility costs. So I will definitely engage with my homeboy, Mitchell Andrew, and that group in Washington. Meet with those people and engage with the opportunity. So along with using their funds, use ours. We're not in the saving business, we're in the helping business. And we need to help those people that need help. Like I heard the public service guy saying, our lower income areas are starving. People, it's not 23% in Alexandria. Our rate, because our income is so low for lower income in certain areas, Pastor there, people are using 35 and 40% of their income to pay the utilities. And how you gonna spend half your $900 check on your utilities and you gotta buy groceries and pay rent? Thank you.
Mr. Hall?
Lowering the utility rates is easy to say, but there are components about your bill. Utility rates are fixed. They're fixed by the city council with recommendations from the administration. The fuel charge is what's the problem. It's market driven. You have no control over that, and there are no profits into the fuel charge. It's against the ordinance to do that. We can only pass through what it costs us. So what we got to find is a system that we define, whatever we can find. We got to find more efficient ways to operate like moving from a more manual meter reading system to a more automated system, things that can possibly lower the cost ultimately. But on the front end, you have to invest in doing that. And being certain that you have that equipment and dollars to try to get that infrastructure in, to try to lower the operating rates, because next step you have to do is certainly as it relates to overall efficiency with the homes that you actually live in. If we can do things, find assistance to make that more affordable and more efficient, those are some things that we can do as we move forward.
Mr. Hayes?
Well, I think our utility system is old and outdated. Using the process of natural gas is also an outdated process. I think it's important that we diversify our utilities. It's 2022. Most of the other places, other cities around, they have access to solar, they have access to wind, they have access to water. It's just here in Alexandria, we don't. Like, we are far, far behind. If we are going to get above or get ahead with these utility situations, it's important that we look to diversifying our utilities. We also have to make sure our homes and our inner cities are actually insulated. I think one of the Public Safety Commission, Mr. Keith, said that we have to seal our homes. A lot of these homes are old wiring, bad roofing. So we do have energy that's just coming in and seeping right on out the house. And at the end of the day, we end up with $800, $900 light bill, and that's just unacceptable.
If you watch the city council meetings for the past 6, I've begged for a credit, not a rebate, Mr. Spencer, but a credit for every person. We talk about the $34 million. We aren't in the business of saving money, it's y'all's money. If you give everyone a $2,000 credit, 2,500 households, it's $500,000. Just like that. It wasn't our fault that we were breached. It is the city's fault that we were breached. Stand up and accept responsibility. If you leave your keys in your car and someone steals it, your insurance still pays, but it was your fault. Okay? Everyone needs a credit. We get everyone, the lowest income people, the people who can't pay their bills. I'm fortunate enough to pay my bills, and you give people a credit. It is that simple. You don't need to go look for it. You don't need to study for it. You don't need to go find it. It's in our bank. And that's what you need to do. The fuel cost is your problem, is a nefarious ordinance that was written years ago by a previous administration that is still being calculated based on the verbiage of that ordinance by this administration correctly, but it is the ordinance and it is the calculation that is wrong. That's what your problem is. We need to fix the ordinance. I've asked to be involved in that, and we're getting a consultant and a study, I think.
Mr. Hall, what will you do to recruit and attract qualified law enforcement personnel to Alexandria?
Recruit qualified officers in Alexandria. That was the problem coming here. Those officers, number one, did not have a union contract, had not had one for years until we got here, as well as the fire department. We were able to get past that and get one negotiated. They had not had a study done in years. They were the lowest paid municipal policemen per capita than anywhere else in the state. We got a pay plan together, and it worked. It worked because the pay was pretty adequate, sergeant and above, but below, when you hire people, was unbelievable. Too far gone, which is where we lost our officers. We had no young people. So we've gotten past that, and we got it going, got the salary there, and we are currently recruiting like we never have before, and the bleeding as a result of the officers leaving has stopped, has stabilized, much better than what it once was, and we're moving forward with a more aggressive recruiting than what we've ever done in the past, with the pay that's adequate.
Mr. Hayes?
I think that when it comes to recruiting police officers, we have to focus on community policing. So we need officers that look like the neighborhoods they represent. It's very important that our officers represent us in a sense. So we need officers that's right here from Alexandria. And what I proposed was that we look within our 44 voters precincts to find officers right here that can represent the districts that they live in.
Secondly, you want to have a recruiting department. You want to have a department that actually went to the colleges, that actually went to the HBCUs, that went to the schools, and they found educated young professionals that want to come in and be police officers. It's extremely important that the officers that we bring in understand the educational aspect of the demographics here in Alexandria and not just be coming from out of town to have a job. You know, we need people that's actually going to come in and represent the people that they look like.
Ms. Davis.
I was appointed on March 9th, 2021. 3 weeks later, I, along with 4 other council members, voted in $2 million in police raises. They hadn't had a raise in 14 years, and the response of this administration and the prior administration was a study. I called 5 police unions and departments in the city. It took me about an hour, and my study proved they needed a raise. We also put in $113,000 in recruiting. Not a penny of that was spent in that budget. Not sure why. The previous administration took away a pay matrix. If you're a teacher, you can go to Rapides Parish School. If you start today, you will know how much you will be making in 30 years. What we did, and we met with the $2 million raises in recruiting money, is we were sued by this administration, saying that we didn't have the authority to do that. But we did, because the judge has told us that we have. What you need to do is you have to address your recruiting issues with training. You have to address it with equipment, cars, things that have not been done for nearly 2 decades. It is the city council, when I was sitting on, that got the matrix put back in place and demanded that a contract be negotiated that had not been negotiated since 2015.
Ms. Davis.
First begins inside of transparency. Talking to our public service workers to engage in what their thoughts are. Committing to budgets of increasing their pay and giving them a cost of living automatic implemented raise process. Also looking at an out-of-the-box recruiting process where we don't just stay in that box, but we go out to different cities and find young people that want to invest their time and efforts and studies to become police officers. But if we have a plan in place to offer these young recruits a real opportunity to retire and feel secure, then they'll be coming to us. We won't have to be out trying to find people to do job and protect us. So we just have to invest in it and be serious about it. Commit to it.
Mr. Davis. How can we use Red River to attract more economic activities to our area?
That was a good question. It was actually the last debate. I sat down with a group of businessmen in New Roads that showed me a map of what the Red River demographic plan was years ago in the former administration. How everyone that graph looked, how we could build a boardwalk and we could put businesses and build an actual coliseum where we've got great concerts and invest in small businesses along those areas. And I was excited when I saw it, Pastor, because it looked like a city where it would invite industry, small businesses, and we would grow into the city that would be the mecca, the hub, where everybody wanted to be a part. Use it like San Antonio used that river. Let's use what we got and build upon it. And we'll be a great city, because that's my plan, is to bring those people in and invest in what's there, not just for utilities, but for businesses there. So everybody's going to take part in the success, because the Red River's ours. So use it. Thank you.
Mr. Hall.
First, I want to say I was chairman of that board of ACA that developed that plan that Mr. Davis is talking about with the river development and the riverfront and the marina and what have you. He's correct. The city's already invested over $50-some million in river development with the amphitheater and what have you. We've also recently got $7 million to do the construction that you see with the top that's going on the amphitheater. That's part of what we're talking about, investing in the river. The river is an activity, it draws people to Central Louisiana. It's a destination city is what we have. So river development is critical to downtown development. It's critical to continuing to get people within a 50-mile radius to keep coming to Alexandria, spending money, working, bringing their talents here. And when the river develops, it just doesn't develop in one spot and on one side. The entire river ultimately develops and other property values tend to go up. And we enhance economic development by doing that. So the river is definitely a resource, and we are all on top of that for river development.
Okay.
So my vision when it comes to actually using the river is looking at our downtown revitalization. I think it's very, very important that we utilize that. In a sense, Mr. Lorenzo, Matt Hall, they already started the development of the projects that we need down there, but we have to focus on tourism. It's extremely important that we focus on tourism. We need people from that 100-mile radius, that center point, actually coming to Alexandria for tourism, and entertainment is the way to do it. That's a huge way to do it. Concerts, gospel concerts, R&B concerts, hip hop, pop, etc. Everything that our kids need that's going to draw in our people and bring them to Alexandria, that's what we need to be focused on. If we do that, we can actually develop the rest of downtown, bring businesses, develop the riverfront property, which is down Third and going towards the village area, to make that property assessed at the value that it should be.
Mr. Davidson.
So it's called the River Act. If you Google it, it's the River Act is an acronym, and it's a study of a study of a study of a study of downtown. 4 times they study what to do. What you need is someone to implement the study. If you remember where Celebration was, just to the left where the dog shelter is and going down Bolton, inside there, all that overgrown and all the poles are sitting, there are, I'm not sure how many, but there are RV hookups already done with their own utilities. I think they probably need to be addressed and maybe fixed up. Right there, everyone loves RV and everyone goes are right on the river. That's boom right there, underutilized asset. If we look at the River Act and we implement it and we go to the City Council and we get funding for it, we go to the port and we go to the Red River Waterway Commission, then you just start implementing those things that we already have. We have dozens of studies that have taken over, that have been done in the past 16 years, and none of them have been implemented. We sit around and we talk about what we're gonna do. What we need is to move forward, and we need to be active and use action to really better our city.
Okay, we have 30-second wrap-up, Ms. Davidson.
I'm asking for your vote. I'd like to be mayor. I've sat as president of the city council. It is a separation of powers. Legislative branch is basically in charge of doling out the money. And you don't have to spend the money if you don't want to, if you don't feel like it's your priority as the mayor, if you don't look at the city as a whole, right? I believe that I can do a lot more good. I can work with the city council. It's what I do every week. We all talk all the time. I answer my emails, I answer my phones, and I love this place. And I know that with y'all's help, we can turn it around, finally.
Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Pastor Jordan. Dr. Luke said that he said that all authority, Paul said all authority was given to God. Luke says, to much is given, much is required. We're in a position now where you have to make a decision on what Alexandria is going to be in the future. And to all of us that are given that authority, we have to help those that are in need. And I'm Lorenzo Davis Sr., candidate, number 75, with a heart and a passion to help those that are in need. Thank you. Make me your choice.
Mr. Hall.
Thank you. Actually, no one up here has lived or walked in the shoes that we walked in the past 36, 40-some months. No one. And I can tell you, when we started, it's nothing like what it is now. It's a different requirement to get the job done. We have things that we've started, we can get things done. We're looking forward to finishing the project. We're looking forward to working with you. We've got a lot of positive things that's taking place within the city that we've had fortunate enough to get some positive things completed, dollars and what have you. So we're asking you to give us your vote on 7-6 to finish the fight. Thank you.
So, if we look around, we look in this crowd, everyone in here, you say you want young people to get involved in politics. Well, this is what it looked like. And in this case, for our mayor's race, I'm that different candidate that has a different perspective for the youth that's going to actually work to bring everyone together. I'm a very emotional and intelligent person, so my thing is communication, bridging the gap between our elders and our youth. As you guys see in the front, I always bring my students with me. They're extremely important to the cause and actually understanding that what you learn here, you're going to be able to use and take that and grow into the future. I'm number 77 on your ballot. Vote Harry Hayes.
I want to thank everybody for coming out. Let's give everybody a round of applause.